This video is going to be my reaction to the Ravens' 13-12 win over the Falcons in preseason week 2. I'm not sure about you. I was actually excited at the end of the game to see the first declared onside kick. Apparently, it reverts to the same, quote, rules that we had on kickoffs prior to 2024. Nonetheless, Atlanta chose to kick the football off. I'm not sure why, and the Ravens just kneel it out. Falcons kicker actually missed a trio of kicks. I believe they were all pulled slightly to the left. I look at him as a reliable kicker, at least from what I have awareness or knowledge of in previous seasons. So that was quite unusual as well. Ravens offense looked weird through 2 possessions. I guess it really looked similar to how the Ravens offense looked last week through 4 or 5 possessions. And then you look up mid or late second quarter, and at that point Josh Johnson is 11 for 11 passing. And that third and that fourth possession, really getting the ball downfield, particularly outside the numbers, near the sidelines. The offensive line had trouble, I thought today, every group that was in there, getting the Falcons blocked. The run game generally shut down, particularly in the first half. I think 18 carries for 31 yards in the first half. It seemed like one or both inside linebackers on every snap were getting to the point of attack. As far as pass pro, I think the Ravens gave up 2 sacks today. One of them was on a really bad rep by Voorhees. He got beat by the defensive tackle, I think on the first third down. Maybe it was the second possession. But you look up at the end of the game, and all 3 Ravens quarterbacks combine to be 21 of 25 throwing for 230 yards. I think that's like almost 10 yards per attempt and 2 touchdowns. Pretty unbelievable stats to be able to recognize those stats across 3 different players. Now, maybe that's skewed a little bit by the 56 or 57-yard touchdown to Dayton Wade, but nonetheless, the passing game was efficient, especially down the sidelines. The Falcons seemed to be, I don't know if I want to say loaded up to stop the run, but they had some great run fits up front. Natron Brooks, the young corner, I think he's a second-year corner, was a force as a boundary side corner. I think he had 13 tackles. Another thing that was interesting after that, those first 2 possessions compared to possessions 3, 4, and 5, was our offense, our play calls seemed to be capped in terms of our passing concepts. Everything was 5 to 7 yards depth, and that's it. Maybe 8 or 10 in the first couple of formations or first couple of series. The Falcons did a nice job, I thought, getting their inside linebackers in windows and making things difficult early on us to work the ball down the field. But I think the concepts were generally short or quick game concepts. And then all of a sudden on the third possession, we get a nice long completion to Kirkwood, who looks like a really good player. I think that went for 24 yards, like an over concept, right to left. Another first down on a boundary side, outside zone to, I think it was Collier, the running back. And then weird situation, Cleveland snaps the ball over Johnson's head as Johnson is adjusting guys. And the Falcons recover the ball near midfield. The only thing I can think is we're going on sound there, maybe first sound. And Cleveland heard Johnson making adjustments. He heard Johnson saying something, and he snapped it. If you think about it, the same thing has happened with Linderbaum, I think twice in previous years. So we're talking about multiple players to which this has happened. I don't know if it's a systemic issue or what, but the Ravens, all of a sudden, on the third and fourth possession, even though they turned it over on the third possession, righted the ship. Johnson finishes the 4th possession with that 6-yard touchdown pass to Owen Wright on a cheat play, the very same play that the Eagles beat us on conceptually last week. There were some timing throws down the field. 3 third-down conversions by Johnson on the 4th possession. I'll show the possession breakdown here in a moment. One of them was to Cunningham on a sprint out to the right. Clean catch by Cunningham, who played well. Another one to Tylan Wallace on a 3rd and 9. That one went for 33 yards. Tylan Wallace looks good. He looks so good, in fact, that he doesn't belong on the field. Meaning, I don't think he needs to be out there competing against the caliber of player we're seeing. He stands out to me. You guys have to let me know what you think about that. Then the 3rd down touchdown to Wright on the cheat play. I thought it was a beautiful drive with the run game having issues and the inside linebackers able to decipher the angles, decipher the play, and attack at the correct angle. The Ravens going to a little bit deeper passing game was a nice adjustment on 3rd and 4th possession. Third quarter, Emory Jones throws that touchdown to Dayton Wade, like a stutter go, 56 or 57 yards. Seemed like the offense changed with Jones in there. A lot of 11 personnel shotgun stuff and less that was under center. On the other side of the ball, I did not think the defense was sharp on 2 particular concepts. The play action boot with a hide concept and then anything that was split zone, meaning the tight end is threatening an edge defender and could cross his face and go out into the flats for a reception. And they were wide open on that 4 times today. At least 3 times it was caught. Maybe the 4th time they weren't targeted. Then the split zone additionally seemed to give us trouble. The one that was glaring to me was a 3rd and 3, late second quarter. I think it's Fitzpatrick, one of the backup tight ends for the Falcons, is absolutely wide open, and Pepe Williams and Adisa Isaac are both stepping down and looking at the run, meaning the run threat, which was to the defense's left. Neither one of them is recognizing there's someone crossing the formation, crossing their face. I have no idea who would be responsible for it. It's a cross read, but it's weird to see those concepts working so well against us, and I thought they did last week as well. The Falcons finished over 150 yards rushing, including that late touchdown by Jace McClellan. No one's on the tight end on those things. The run game and the play action boot really gave us problems, even though at the half, I think Atlanta's only at 48 yards on the ground. Tavius Robinson with that really nice critical tackle on the 2-point conversion run late in the 4th quarter to secure the win. We had not been doing that, meaning we had not been running with the running back to force a keep read by the quarterback. We've been trying to half man it, and that's why you saw so many guys make tackles or get involved from the backside late on 4 or 5 yard gains. Isaac, I think Ojabo on one, Evans on one as well, closing down from the backside. Great, but we're slow playing it such that the quarterback hands it off and we can close down. But the caliber of athletes you've got in the NFL level at running back, they're going to be able to get 4 or 5 yards out of that. Defensively, some guys that were active. Trenton Simpson clearly was active. He only had 2 tackles and 1 tackle for loss, but that pass coverage snap on the tight end, extremely tight coverage, almost could have been an interception, really. I thought he did struggle early in the first quarter on 2 run concepts. Haven't seen the film or replays yet, so you're talking about one viewing. He was cut one time by the right guard on a really nice downhill run by the Falcons. Ojabo, for me, was a big story just to see him out there in terms of just being on the field, whether he's making plays or not. I think he's credited with 1 tackle or 1 quarterback hit. He did do a really nice job setting the edge on the first run play when he was on the field. He was on the right-hand side, it's an 11 personnel run play into the boundary. Also had an extremely clean win against the right tackle for the Falcons on the same play where Simpson is covering the tight end. In fact, it's a 3rd and 7 down on our 22-yard line, and Simpson gets the pass breakup. Or maybe he's not credited with a pass breakup, but it's great coverage. Ojabo with a clean win on a little rip underneath against the right tackle. Robinson got significant time. Some of the young guys shined. Those 3 for me, Robinson, Ojabo, Simpson, looked really good. Bo Brad also was very active. Closes on the ball well. Almost had an interception in the 4th quarter. I did think the defensive tackles on the inside stood up better to the run game, to the zone and stretch run game, than we saw last week against the Eagles. Let's talk about the 4th possession here, where the Ravens able to go down and take a 7-3 lead. Collier was wide open on the first play coming out of the backfield. I didn't see the beginning of the snap. Like I said, I was watching a Falcons broadcast, so they were talking to, I believe it was the Falcons president of their front office. So I only saw Collier catch the ball, so I didn't get the formation or anything like that. We certainly were not running the ball well at this point. Had to take a timeout on a 3rd and 1, which was very weird near midfield. Like, how are we having to take a timeout? We just switched personnel groups from the 2nd and 9 to the 3rd and 1. We went from 11 personnel to 12, so we subbed in and had to call a timeout. That was really unusual to me. Lost yardage on the ensuing power play. A DB for the Falcons, number 41, chased it down from behind, tackle for loss. And then the 4th and 2, I misspoke a little bit ago and said it was a 3rd down. It was a 4th and 2 completion to Cunningham. Johnson sprints out to the right behind the running back, not necessarily threatening the edge to run. Cunningham just runs a little out route, good catch along the sideline, and then scoots for a 13 or 14-yard gain. 3rd and 9 to Wallace was like a slant. I thought it was on the back side of Tripp, so I thought Wallace was the X receiver back there by himself. Catches it for a 33-yard gain. Clean win for him. And then Wright with a short run. Falele, when he's pulling on some of these power plays, it looks to me like he's, slow getting out of there, and there's two inside linebackers on this play, the second and goal from the 4. Two inside linebackers for the Falcons are able to, shoot through the gap is what most people describe it as, and disrupt the play. Ended up being a loss of 2. Our run game did not look good today at all, if you ask me. I think we finished with 71 yards rushing on 30 attempts. It's a preseason game, so maybe that's why we were so committed to it. So just about 2.5 yards per carry. Then the cheat play. Wright goes out to the flats. Johnson reverse pivots. We get the edge blocked again, and Wright makes a great effort. One of the inside linebackers for Atlanta actually played really, really well. Milo Eifler, he had 8 or 9 tackles on the day, challenges Wright at about the 1-yard line. Wright's able to dive in. I thought they did a great job reviewing it and crediting us with the touchdown. So cool play. Ravens defense in some ways tightened up in the third quarter. I know that there was different players, on the field from a defensive and offensive standpoint, meaning there wasn't as much talent on the field for each team. One guy I want to point out for the Falcons who's playing extremely well is a wide receiver named Chris Blair. He had a 27-yard catch today. I think he had two catches today, 6 catches for 136 through 2 games. To me, when he was on the field, there seemed to be a difference in speed and athleticism as far as what we were facing. And then when we went away from Ojabo and Tavius Robinson and we brought in Evans and Isaac on the field of outside linebacker, a very clear drop-off in our ability to, A, get to or even near the quarterback, and then also stop the run unless we were unblocked. When the backside outside linebackers were able to close down and make tackles against the run, but again, it ended up being a 4 or a 5-yard gain most of the time. That throw by Jones was kind of anomalous because I thought he was, A, getting rid of the ball quick and fast. He did find Cunningham on a third down for a 19-yard gain from the slot, left-hand side, if I recall. And then on the 7th possession, I believe it was the 7th possession, the second possession that he was in, the stutter go to Dayton Wade, who we all know is extremely athletic if you've seen the college highlights. Obviously, great job by Wade for a big play. There was a lot of 11 personnel shotgun stuff, and you can see why. Jones gets rid of the ball quick. His release looks a little different. Maybe he's not as much overhand as Josh Johnson, but Dayton Wade sold the stutter well and then was able to get past the corner, take it to the house for a 13-6 lead. Natron Brooks, the corner that I mentioned earlier, unbelievable game by him, 13 tackles. I was watching a Falcons broadcast like I mentioned earlier, and their head coach spoke about him twice in the interview process. The inside linebackers for the Falcons were Milo Eifler and J.D. Bertrand, who I think is a rookie. They combined for 13 tackles, constant presence against our run game. We did not get really anything going consistently up front from an offensive line standpoint, so that's a little concerning. I don't think the offense looks extremely clean. You're welcome to let me know, what you think. But we did get 3 different players on the field today at quarterback who competed at a high efficiency, gave up 2 sacks, 21 completions on 25 attempts. So from that standpoint, there's things to like. We clearly were trying to run clock and get the game over in the second half, which was fine with me. I don't know about you, but I didn't want to necessarily see a ton of pass concepts in this situation with guys that we know, aren't going to be on the field significant amount of time. One thing that I have to note about the defense, I'll let some of the stats flow through here. I didn't see significant block destruction from the inside and outside linebackers, other than a few examples with Simpson. Simpson had 2 examples of trying to get off blocks, similar to how he did last week against the Eagles a couple of times. If you didn't check it out, I did a film study video on Trenton Simpson's play from last week, and 2 of the plays in that game kind of illustrate what I'm talking about. Using your hands, being able to shock an offensive lineman, maybe catch him on a half step, meaning get him a little bit quicker than he's thinking about getting hit, and then you can shed quicker to the point of attack or to the side where the ball's going. I didn't see significant examples of that today from an inside linebacker standpoint. Now, I did think the defensive tackles were better against zone combo stuff. Unfortunately for us, we were no good at outside linebackers, any of them, really, at dealing with play-action boot stuff. I'm looking forward to being able to watch the all 22 in the end zone angles and see if I'm wrong and how wrong I am. But it looked like pretty much all of those guys consistently were having trouble holding the edge on a run concept away from them. Again, we were slow playing it generally, and then recognizing the quarterbacks got the ball and go contain them. Those quarterbacks were throwing the ball from a clean platform on those play action boots, and the receivers were wide open out in the flats. I thought 4 times, but I know 3 times they had wide open catches. You're welcome to let me know what you think of that thought there. That concerns me from a schematic standpoint because it happened to multiple outside linebackers, not just one. If it was only one guy, let's say Ojabo or Tavius Robinson or whoever, then you could attribute it to that player. This was multiple guys. So certainly something to work on. This game almost reminded me of the Falcons' visit to play us in Baltimore in 2022, whereby they ran the ball well under center, a lot of zone stuff, play action boot. They were physical. I know they've got different coaches now, but it was very reminiscent of that game to me, and I didn't think that we played our best game for large stretches. Josh Johnson being able to rebound and go 11 for 11 was super impressive to me. Slightly dampened when Emory Jones comes in and goes 7 for 9, and then Devin Leary, I think, comes in and goes 4 for 5. My point is, carving up Atlanta's defense 11 for 11 is a great day for Josh Johnson, but both of the other quarterbacks who came in did so as well. Only give up 1 sack on a day when the run game was unable to really generate anything. Our longest run of the day was an 8-yard scramble by Josh Johnson and an 8-yard run by John Kelly, I think, late third quarter. Dayton Wade comes up with a big play for a touchdown. I don't know about you. He's a guy that I would like to see get on the field a little bit more next week. Anthony Miller had 3 catches on 3 targets, so quite efficient. Kadir Ismail had 3 catches, but I believe he had either a drop or a fumble. I'm not sure if it goes down as a drop or a fumble, but he got stung by Natron Brooks down into the boundary. Charlie Kolar made a cameo on the first 2 or 3 possessions. Otherwise, the offense was kind of sluggish early until the downfield passing game kind of opened things up. You guys will have to let me know in the comment section which players you were most impressed by, if any, and what you would have liked to have seen the defense try to do differently when dealing with some of that outside zone and then boot in the opposite direction concepts, because it seemed like we were simultaneously forfeiting 4 and 5-yard runs on the outside zone concept and allowing the quarterback to get a clean throwing platform on the boot. And I don't think you should allow them to be able to do both. Should take away one or the other strategically or by call. Late in the game, twice, the Ravens finally brought a safety off the edge, away from the play action, away from the run concept, and they were able to get a hit on, I think it was Heineke, or maybe it was the backup quarterback who finished the game. Otherwise, we didn't really seem to have answers for that concept. You guys, let me know what you think of the video in the comment section, what your thoughts were. If you were like me, really excited from late first quarter to late second quarter with the offense, and then getting a couple stops, and then the third and fourth quarter, just glad to see us run the ball and kind of get out of there quickly. Appreciate you guys' time.